Our next team coming out is Debate a Bot. Put your hands together for Debate a Bot. Come on out, y'all.
Okay, we are Debate a Bot, and before we start talking about the actual project, which has to do with bots, we need to take a step back and talk about computers. It's a natural starting point. Some things to know about computers. They're good at some things. Among the things that they're good at are math and formal logic. And they're good at not making stupid mistakes. You know, like I get 4 times 5 wrong sometimes, but the computer never does. Computers are bad at other things, though. They're really bad at them, in fact. They can't do creative or abstract reasoning, and they can't process natural language. They can't speak English like you and me. They only speak computer. And so the thing about this is it makes it really hard to make computer programs that pretend to be humans. You know, there are examples of them, and there's, you know, like relatively recently, actually, they said that, you know, this team passed the Turing test. They made like a 15-year-old Ukrainian boy, and it convinced 30% of the people. It's really hard. The best researchers in the world can't do it, and we tried to. But, so just straight from the man himself, Alan Turing. No, I'm not interested in developing a powerful brain. All I'm after is just a mediocre brain, something like the president of the American Telephone and Telegraph Company. So Alan Turing is funny, and we did him one better. We made not just a mediocre brain, but we made a mediocre version of everyone's brain. So we created Debate a Bot, which lets you create bots, put them into a chat room, and crazy things happen. So before we get there, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the infrastructure. You feed in some training text, so the interviews and speeches work particularly well. It feeds it into this natural language processing library, which spits out a semantic dependency graph, which is essentially a fancy way of saying, determining the relationships between the words in a sentence. From there, it gets written into a database where it's served to Debate a Bot. And so I show you this diagram because it illustrates 2 points. Number one is that I work in marketing at a software infrastructure company. And the second, we are not responsible for anything these bots say. We couldn't control them if we wanted to. The only person who understands the natural language processing part is currently at home sick. So it's a black box. Okay, so we started out with people. Everyone's favorite target. She happens to work incredibly well for this. It's just like, when you started feeding text into it, you realize that certain people work better than others. Sarah Palin works exceptionally well. So you'll notice that these kind of seem like things that a human would say, but they're just a little bit off. That theme's going to continue. Oh yeah, we put her into conversation with Malcolm. We ingested the sort of Malcolm X autobiography, which was, I mean, a lot of words, but he only needed one. Okay, so once we got the basic functionality working, then we started messing around a little bit. So we've got some novelty bots that, you know, have to do with current events. This might not be the right joke for a bunch of nerds, but whatever. We created a training test set that was half Kanye West lyrics, I think, and half interviews and half the Bible. And he said some other stuff, too, that I didn't include in here. I went out and collected the 600 most recent tweets from each of our esteemed judges.
Don't you fucking tweet my whereabouts.
Did you actually say that, or did
No.
we put... Yeah, so yeah. This is the bot version of you, and this is where it's really important that we can't control what it says. Jonah had a little bit of redundancy, but he...
Well, the second part is completely true.
He's like...
That's super accurate.
You rock out and get paid. And travel by flow,
wish I
whatever
was that good.
means. Natasha worked incredibly well. I don't know what it is about your Twitter feed, but like coherent, hilarious things come out. And we put Scott into conversation with Barry O. So the reason we showed all of these screenshots to you is because we're playing the long game here. They say a lot of shit. Some of it makes sense. Some of it does not. Oh, you don't have caps lock map to escape like I do. Okay. So this is the website. This is live. You can go there. It is debateabot.com with no hyphens. You can either go into a random chat room with any of our esteemed bots, or you can select your own room. So let's try Karl Marx, and who else should we put in there? Jesus. Okay, well, so let's just start with 2 for now. So you can boot it up, and there be people. Those. Yeah. So anyway, it sometimes it works, sometimes you get incoherent stuff, but it's a lot of fun if you just sit there watching it. It just like. And you can also just bring multiple bots into the room, and then they'll just start interacting with each other. So, like, I can even go back and let's just stick Jonah in there. He's talking to... And so, actually, the 4 of you... Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, wait, no, there was one other thing to show everyone there. Let's go back here. Okay, so in order to build this whole thing, like all that infrastructure I showed you, it's not just like a website. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and since we already had built all of that, we thought we should do something else with it as well. So so not to be threatening to our judges here, but I know that some of them have podcasts. And
Malcolm X says, man, Mr. Allen had his gun and the cocaine courage. She was gasping for air.
We have no control over this.
To the babies.
So this is...
My brother Filbert, they had begun to scatter to other cities.
This is an infinite podcast of just bots talking to each other, announcing themselves occasionally. And so... Not to threaten your podcast, which I enjoy very much, but we can create far more content than you can. And so, we made it through the demo. And that's the end.
Come on over, y'all. Debate a bot. Well done.
I have a question.
Yes, Natasha.
So with the infinite podcast, it's always going to sound like a robot?
Yeah.
Sounds like different robots. But robots.
I mean,
so
like,
when you start to forget that you're listening to Malcolm X or Sarah Palin, it would all start to kind of blend together.
That's why we put the images up there, and that's why they announce themselves periodically. They'll say like...
They should announce themselves like every 3 minutes or something, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's like, it's more than that, yeah. Oh, it's every sentence right now? Okay. Yeah.
I have so many questions. But my main question, can you somehow reverse engineer this so I can know when I'm actually speaking to a bot on the internet? Because I feel like I'm doing that all the time.
Well, see, that's the thing is I think it's usually pretty easy to tell. If this was any evidence, no? Well, I don't know what to tell you.
It's really funny, thank you.
It's very entertaining.
Are they able to leave negative comments on the internet?
We could probably set it up to do that.
Don't set it up to do that. Make it so it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. We could make it argue with negative comments.
Ooh. Could you?
Yes.
See, that's the thing. You just like if you say it more times, you're more right, and we can have an army of bots. So.
Could you conceivably make more bots than there are human beings?
We would have to pay for a lot of servers.
If I talk to my own bot, do I cause the singularity?
I mean, you can. It's live. Also, if you guys want us to take you down, we can.
No.
I thought that was a wonderful way to really kiss up to the judges.
Yeah.
So.
I like how mine was like the tinfoil hat wearing bot. It's like, don't tweet my whereabouts.
But you have, because yours, you like I know like so much about what you guys tweet now, but it's like,
calm down, buddy.
There were like a lot of links and like @ mentions and stuff, so I don't know. It didn't work quite as well.
By the way, the tweet you posted of mine, I think, was from 3 years ago.
Then you have only tweeted 600 times in the past 3 years.
You know that is that true?
Yeah. Well, because the Twitter
He's
API.
tweeting your whereabouts right now.
No, the Twitter API only lets you pull down 200 responses at a time. And so I just did it 3 times. Well, actually, I screwed up, and I initially loaded Veronica and Natasha into Jonah, and so they were just like.
I wouldn't mind that one bit.
That's my ultimate fantasy.
But then I reset Jonah. Yeah.
I'm more impressed than I am creeped out. So.
Excellent. Debate a bot. Yeah. More impressed than creeped out. Perfect exit. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That was a real one too, right? Like
everything you're seeing is real. I can't stress this enough. All the technology that you've seen on display actually works.